people in companies do not make mistakes. So who does them then? You'll find the answer in this video. This principle I'm going to talk about comes from the world of Lean Six Sigma. Lean Six Sigma is a way of thinking and a way of working when you would like to improve or innovate something in your company. Let me share you 3 stories first. The first story happened to me a few years ago when I wanted to send an email to my client. Her name was Johanna, and I would like to also CC her boss, Gabriela. But unfortunately, I CC'd a different Gabriela from a completely different company. It's the wrong Gabriela. That could be a disaster because there were some sensitive data I was sending. Luckily, I use Google Workspace as my corporate email solution, so I got this warning, and it says, "Did you mean Gabriela Tsumova instead of the other Gabriela?" It warned me. And suddenly I knew, and I was like, oh my god, that could be a big mistake, and it helped me to prevent a very serious mistake. The second example comes from gas stations, and this is how it works, at least in Europe. It's a big problem if you take a diesel and load it into a regular car, or you take the regular petrol and load it into a diesel car. It could break the engine. So there's a little trick how to prevent it, or how to make it very hard to happen. Because these diesel nozzles, as you can see on these pictures, are a bit wider than the regular petrol nozzle. These are slimmer. So if you have a regular petrol car, it is impossible for you to stick in the diesel nozzle, which makes it very, very hard to make this mistake. Unfortunately, it works the other way, vice versa, it works. So this is to prevent mistakes. The third story is about a guy, let's call him Peter. And Peter worked in the 80s as an IT guy. And his job every morning was to plug some cable into the computer. And one day Peter was tired and he plugged the cable in the computer the other way around. And problem happened because the computer burned down. And that's a problem, okay? So the company investigated who made this mistake. They found out it was Peter. They punished Peter, and they trained everybody in the company, do not put the plug the other way around. As you know, that is not a good strategy to prevent this from happening. Much better is to have cables that are not possible to put the other way around, which developed quite soon after that, or maybe reversible cables that you can plug in both ways around. So this principle of preventing errors, like with these new cables where it's impossible to make a mistake, it's called Poka Yoke in Lean. It's a word that comes from Japan, from Toyota, and the literal translation is dump proof. So making the process Poka Yoke, making the process that people cannot make an error. So, or unwilling error, so involuntary error. So this is the principle in Lean that we say. So it's not the people who make mistakes. It's the process that didn't prevent the people from making the mistake. So in Lean, the philosophy is say, do not ask whose fault it is or how to punish the person for the mistake. Ask, what can we change to prevent this next time? How can we fix the process? How can we implement some checks and controls so this thing will not happen? I used to work for a hotel booking company in Czech Republic, and we had exactly this problem in many different situations. For example, when you booked a room to a certain date, okay, for one person room, and then maybe your colleague decide to join you for a business trip and you booked another room in your name in the same hotel, same dates. It often happens that by mistake, somebody at the reception would consider this as only one reservation and they would merge them, which would lead to a missing room for the second person. We couldn't punish the hotels, our customers. That would not work. We couldn't punish the receptionists who were operating the booking systems on the hotel side. But instead, we built a process into our system. When such situation was detected, we get a trigger and an email was sent to a hotel, or maybe a phone call was made to a hotel and said like, hey, look at this. These are really two separate reservations. And we had many similar processes to prevent common mistakes, and it saved us a lot. So this principle of Poka Yoke is very important and something which can help you a lot, because unless it's a mistake that the people want to do, which is hopefully not that common in companies, punishing them has zero effect on motivating the people or on preventing the errors. Also, if you punish people for mistakes, what will people do is hide the mistakes, which can make them much more costly in the end, especially if it reaches the customer. So next time something fails, do not blame the people, blame the process and fix it so it doesn't happen again.